I do have 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and start it. First roll call. Judy Kerr, Chris Gregory, Linda Bruce, Shane Burton, Brian Crook, David Nollner, and Steve Whitaker. We got everybody here tonight. Okay, first, if you guys could review the minutes from our last meeting. Okay, we got a motion to approve by, that was Brian Crook, second by Shane Burton. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, let's set the agenda and go through our items this evening. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and set the agenda. That was David Nollner and Chris Gregory. Matt, are you ready for your presentation?
Yes. I'm not sure about the shelter update. I'm not sure where that came from or what it's about.
There was one a while back that was being discussed to be maybe put on Broadway Street.
Okay, that was at the sheriff's department, at the sheriff's station, 210 Broadway, the old city hall underneath. So we can't get funding from it for federal funding anyways, because it's in a floodplain. They won't fund it. The weather sirens, we're really not have any plans to do weather sirens. I don't know if anybody's aware of what weather sirens are really for alerting people who are outside. So you shouldn't depend on that at nighttime, especially if you're asleep, to wake you up. You should have other forms like your phone with apps or weather radios and things along those lines. If you look at the weather we had when we got warnings issued for our county, it was terrible weather already. So I'm sure very few people were outside. And even where I live, which is maybe a quarter mile from where the siren stood, you could barely hear it inside your house. So it's not something that's really designed to alert people who are inside. You should have other weather on TV, apps on your phone, or a weather radio, ideally.
Yeah, I know whenever we had the weather, there was people that were worried about not getting notified and stuff, but can't they get the 911 service through their cell phones?
Yes, 100%. So, I mean, you just download a regular weather app, will automatically alert you. And the sheriff's department also issues warnings through their reverse 911 system. I will say the reverse 911 system does require you to apply for it. It's not an automatic to your cell phone. So is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
That's what I was wondering.
The HyperReach system is maintained by the 911 district, and there's a link on our Facebook page. There's also a link on the county website under the Metro Police section. You'll see there it says sign up for alerts, and you can go to that sign up page, put your cell phone number into your address, and those alerts are sent out according to the map or the area that's in danger, and those are pushed out to your cell phone. Like when the tornadoes hit, when the National Weather Service issues tornado warnings, the service automatically picks those up and sends them out as well. But sometimes time is pressing when those alerts go out. So when I hear of tornadic weather in nearby counties, I go ahead and send out an alert. If you hear that alert, tornadoes have been noticed in counties near Trouser County. we put those out to give everybody some extra time to be aware and get prepared.
Madam Chair, if I can add, if you get questions about sirens, sirens really don't work in an area unless you have a cluster of them, multiples of them, so that more people can hear that siren being turned on. A single siren like we had for a period of time only alerts a very limited number of people and has a very limited reach. The weather apps, the HyperReach, these things are a better alternative for our folks.
I have a quick, I was wondering if there's any way like to put publications out or something, because not everyone knows about these opportunities. And believe it or not, some people don't have Facebook and stuff like that. So if they're, advertise or flyers or newspaper, radio, something, or announce it on the radio station, just a few different opportunities, because if you ask a lot of people, they have no clue what you're talking about. So if there's any way that might be a thought.
Well,
But-
I know there was something in the newspaper back a few years, back when the county started it, 'cause I remember putting it in there, so.
To address that, Linda, I noticed in the paper a week or two ago, after all this tornado activity, there was a ad in the paper notifying people to sign up. And also I test it once a quarter or every 2 months. And then word of mouth, and I put it out again to tell everybody to sign up for it. And I have mentioned it when I'm on his radio program. And also to follow up the question about the station basement, the last big weather event we had, there were 40 or 50 people in the basement of the station. We don't advertise it as a shelter, but it's open to anyone that doesn't have anywhere to go. And we usually man it when the wind strikes, and people have came down there and sought shelter. And that's worked well. It's not authorized as a shelter, but there are a lot of people down there. Right.
Yeah, we tried to get TEMA, Matt did, to go in and remodel it and make it a shelter, but they said it was in a floodplain. And they wouldn't give us any grant money for it. So that's the reason we hadn't publicized it really much.
Now, what about our community center over here? That was also an emergency shelter.
Well, there's a huge basement underneath it that's like a fortress. But the only way you can access it now is a door, probably a 3x3 door. That's the only way you can get into the basement now. But it's huge under there. It's like a fortress underneath it. I know a lot of y'all been under it back when we used to do the raise money for Christmas for kids, do the Halloween. And it's a lot of room under there. It could be fixed to a shelter. But it would also be floodplain too.
And that building was designed for sheltering people after an event that had become homeless or displaced for flood or weather conditions. So that was an after the event was over shelter, not a before it hit us.
And the way FEMA classifies things is a tornado, a place you would go, like, for example, the sheriff station in the basement is called a safe place. And a shelter is considered something that is for long-term, like days or weeks or months, where, so when you talk to FEMA and TEMA people, you say safe space, and, and then redoing, like, potentially, if you wanted to try to convert the community center to a safe space for, severe weather, if it hadn't been in a floodplain, just like at the sheriff's station, that would be something we could look to do. If there's another building that's outside of a floodplain, they can get grant money to retroactively make that into one. And that there's some conditions that go along with it, but, it has to be somewhere it's not in a floodplain if we're going to try to do one, if there's a suitable structure that you could reinforce.
And underneath the station too, it's got 2 restrooms under there. We went in there and fixed those so people can use the restroom, and got water down there. So we've got it fixed.
I know there's costs and stuff over at this one here but again, that might be going into the long-term thing, but. Okay, and then your report. If everybody wants to look at that for the EMS, if you have any questions that you want to ask of Matt.
Got one question for Mr. Beatty that's not in the report. Just, you had mentioned previously at some of our meetings, wanting to see about a new ambulance. Are you gonna have that in the budget for the coming year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would like also to point out in the coming weeks, the Trousdale Medical Center is going to be doing some construction, installing a new main water line. So the parking arrangements and stuff at the hospital are going to change, and the entrance doors also going to not be in the front once they cut the driveway to access the pipe that runs under the driveway from the road. So it's something that the communities will need to know about here before long, that there are going to be signage and stuff. We had a meeting last week, but there's going to be some interruptions in how you enter and exit the hospital at some point.
Okay, if that is all for EMS, fire.
Excuse me, about the brush truck repairs, we're expecting that to be finished at Blankenship's by the end of the month. He has remounted the cab on the chassis, so the next step will be to remount the bed on the new chassis and make sure all the electrical and plumbing hookups work that they had to disconnect previously. So we hope to have that back soon. The report is in your packet. Our pumpers have to go through an annual inspection and certification. They completed that in the month of March, so they'll be certified. Call volume is listed there about the middle of that report. If there's any questions about any of those. We did request funds from Enbridge in the form of a grant to do some upgrades to our radio system, get us some more gas detection meters and some gated hydrant valves. I did get an email a couple of days ago that they have confirmed that we will receive those funds. So we'll get $11,800 from Enbridge this year to take care of those needs without dipping into our county reserve. We'll also tell you that the fire department's had a new paint job. We just finished today painting the hallway, office, bathrooms, and training room. And very soon following that, we will come in and get a different individual to strip and re-wax the tile floors and clean the carpeted floors in there. we've been in that building 10 years and those issues have not been upgraded since then, so I felt like it was time to do it. Other thing, on there, and I list this under budget concerns. I ask you to consider, raising the volunteers' pay from $30 a call to $50 a call. We asked for this increase last year and did not get it, but I've plugged it back into my budget request again this year. The volunteer pay has not changed since 2016. So we're 9 years at $30 a call. You've given many other raises to other employees throughout that period of time. So I think it's time to look at the volunteer firemen, and this resolution or this would also include the members of rescue as well. They're typically paid the same rate of pay. Questions from any of you?
Okay, what's the will of the body for this resolution?
I'll move to forward it to budget with a favorable recommendation.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you for your consideration, and the members will greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, we've received the grant that we was talking about here a while back. We received the $52,100. We're in the process of getting quotes for new gear and some new equipment. So as soon as all that comes out, we'll know more about that. Vehicle Rescue 1 got restriped to match Rescue 2. So it's got a new look to it. Training, we have members getting ready to go through Swiftwater this coming up month. Equipment, we are getting quotes together for new gear, the hydraulics, and going to need our radios service to match all the other departments. And memberships, we have got 3 more people applied to be on rescue, just waiting on application process. Uniforms, we've ordered some shirts. They should be done pretty soon. And then the building, we got TDOT to fix their side, but we're still receiving water, but it's not as much. And we're getting the rescue sign redone. And then we're looking to start up a first responder program with the community to help EMS when all their units are out.
You want to give us a little breakdown on this proposed budget?
Yeah, the proposed budget, we upgraded. Our last year was 46,000. We increased it to 10,000 more to help with all the maintenance and stuff that we got going on. And with the cost of everything going up, everything's getting higher. So we're just asking for a little bit more.
Does anybody have any questions for Timmy for rescue?
Uh, With regards to the Swiftwater training, it was mentioned in our March meeting, it was in the minutes that I guess y'all were having trouble finding a training course, and there was a question of whether there was enough in the rescue budget for the members, all the members to undertake that training. Have those issues been resolved?
Yes, we'll be going through TARS. And that we just got a membership with TARS. Those classes will be cheaper. So it ain't gonna cost as much to do those trainings as it would if we wasn't a member.
Okay, we'll move forward with law enforcement.
You got down camera systems, we got two different camera systems we're working on. One of them we just finished up. It was the sheriff's station, the courtrooms across the street, and the jail. We just upgraded our camera systems there. Our Alex cameras was having trouble with them. They've been in so long, they was getting obsolete. They had glitches in them, so we upgraded all those and they're working well. And another camera you might be talking about, we're gonna look at getting new body cameras. Avon body camera system, Exxon body camera system, it's gonna be a lease agreement with them over 3 years at 17,000 a year. The cameras that we got, they still work fairly well, but, the technology has gotten so much better with these new camera systems. And, so we're looking at changing all those out. Gravel Hill Tower, I talked with the engineer last week and he's passed it on to the electrician. And we're waiting for him to do his thing, and after that, be ready to go out to bid. But he told me he'd let me and Jack know when he was ready, so he's getting pretty close. I told him we're getting close into this budget year, we need to hurry up. You know, we started this in September last year and it's going slow. Personnel and staffing, I think we've hired 4 dispatchers over the last couple of months. We've had some to leave, take other jobs, and one to transfer them from the jail over to dispatch. In the jail, I just hired 4 more females for the jail. I had one to go to Wilson County and some of them quit to go other places, better paying jobs. 3 deputies have quit in the last month and a half. One went to Gallatin, one went to Lafayette, one went to probation and parole. The one went to Gallatin started out $10 more an hour. And the one went to Lafayette started out $3 something more an hour with a guaranteed raise of 50 cents a year for the next 8 years plus cost of living. And probation parole, he got an amount, I never did ask him what he's making, but I know it's a lot more than what we were paying him. We're having a problem right now with this year I'm asking for a 10% increase for all my employees. About 3 years ago, we were kind of equal with Lafayette, Macon County, Smith County, but we're falling behind. And they're getting raises, and where we've been getting 2.5%, they've been getting 5% and 10% raises. You can walk in at Sumner County as a correctional officer, start out $25 an hour. We're starting out at $16.68. It's hard to keep anybody. at the rate we're going right now. Same way with our deputies and dispatchers. It's hard to keep anybody. If we stay where we're at, we're gonna lose a lot more. We've got to increase to stay up with ones north of us. I just, I hope the commission considers, the 10% raise because they really need it. Whether inflation's gone up, last 2 years, we've gotten a 2.5% raise. Last year, for example, insurance went up 1.6. So technically, the employees got 0.9% of a cost of living raise. And it's not covering it. Any questions on that with anybody?
I would say the ambulance service falls in that same boat. We're also have fallen fairly far behind surrounding counties.
And another issue's come up too is on our overtime on the holiday pay, wanting to cut that out. And that's got all my employees all uproaring. Now, you don't blame them. We figured it up. It's anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 a year raise or money that they're making is gonna be cut from them. And I hope that the commission doesn't do that, but that's gonna put another hardship on us. They feel like they're not appreciated. They say, here we are trying to give them a raise and instead they're getting cut. And I think some of them are just sticking around, see what happens. I know Gallatin's going to hire 10 more. And the other counties around us, like say one went to Lafayette, one went to Gallatin, and they had one to go to Wilson County. The girl worked for me at the jail for 11 years. She went to Wilson County. And the benefits and money we're not getting it here like they are these other places.
Ray, what, in a dollar amount, what would a 10% look like? We're talking like 200,000-300,000 or just, reason I ask is what's.
I've got the budget, but I didn't bring it with me. If anybody, like right now, we're starting a deputy out at $20 an hour. If they're certified, we usually try to bring them up to about 22, something. So already been in the academy and trained. That would increase them, if they're making 22, that would increase it to 24.40, for example, a 10% would. Or if somebody's making 16.68, I'd give them $1.60 something cent hour raise, would bring that up. And it's still gonna be behind some from some of these other counties. Be honest, we really need about a 15% raise to get us up where we need to be. Any more questions on that?
Right. This is get off different. So we, you discussed here a while back, a few months ago about, license plate cameras. Whatever happened to that?
No, they're up and working. They're up and working. And they've solved some crimes for us. We had one major crime out to the prison working on it, and it was able to identify the vehicle and give us the location where they was living at. And the U.S. Marshals went in, done a search warrant and made an arrest. And that was in West Tennessee. But it helped us link that to that prison case. And we've covered some stolen vehicles and license plates and ID'd other people for other crimes. And while we're talking about it, I'm wanting to increase it this year and get a few more cameras to put up where we can cover all of our highways. And the prison system, they can't own the cameras because they're a private entity. They're not law enforcement. So they put 2 cameras up out there and we put it under us and they reimbursing us. But they can't look at hits and stuff that we get, but we go back and look. And if something happens out there, the license plate readers read those going in and out. But they're reimbursing at the county for those. So that helps us out there too. Any more questions on personnel staff? Uh, vehicle fleet, they got 3 patrol cars in the budget this year and a work crew vehicle. Want to replace one of them. It's got around 280,000 miles on it. We bought it used and I've been driving it, I don't know, 7, 8 years, and it's starting to break down a lot on us. And, last week I done a contract with TDOT, signed it and got it turned in. They're gonna start paying us for picking up the state highways. And, the amount comes up to $21,660 a year. The TDOT's gonna start paying us on a litter grant. It's a different litter grant from what we're already doing. So I'd like to replace that vehicle, maybe take this money here, earmark it to pay for that vehicle. This extra money we're getting, that's the vehicle we want to replace. There is some talk that they may do away with another litter grant. Did you hear something about that, Jack? The litter grant, didn't they say something about doing away with one we got now, or you heard that? Yeah. But, as of right now, it's still ongoing too. Call reports. Waylon, do you have a list of that? I'll let Waylon go over this, the call reports, and
I've got the stats for the department for the last 30 days. I just hit the highlights. Deputies have worked 10 crashes, issued 72 citations. Jails booked in 44 persons, released 50 persons. Dispatch has logged 1,422 complaint cards. Of that, 332 were traffic stops. The officers initiated 782 of them. And just the highlights of some of the calls they've been on. Animals at large calls were 33 this month. We escorted Tennessee Department of Correction prisoner transports 10 times. We've assisted people locked out of their vehicles, locked out of their homes 18 times. We've inspected the school doors 153 times. And this report will be turned in if anyone's interested in it. We keep up the stat. That's our monthly stats from March 28th to April 28th. Yes. That's correct. We do not. If a in-state county is needing to pick up an inmate, we'll have that inmate here and make arrangements for the other county to come pick them up, usually 2 or 3 day turnaround. If that person is wanted in a sister state, then they'll be charged as a fugitive from justice here in Tennessee. And then they'll have to appear in court, and there's due process. That could take anywhere from a week up to 21 days waiting for the sister state to make arrangements to come pick them up. But there's no reimbursement for that.
I know you pick up for ICE a lot.
We have picked up some,
You got one coming.
right? We'll, when they issue the detainer, we'll hold them and wait for them to come take custody. There's no reimbursement for that.
And one of the bad things, we're talking about this, we had a female we picked up for Illinois last month. And she went into a seizure and we had to transport her to the hospital. And we got a $6,000 bill. And I sent a copy of the bill with her whenever they picked her up. But really, they don't have to pay it. It's gonna come back on us for somebody we didn't even have any charges on other than a fugitive justice. And we're getting a couple of those here and there. Just nothing we can do but pay it.
And while we're on the topic of expense to the county, we had a female that was charged introduction of contraband at Charles Turner. She went to General Sessions Court. That case was bound over to criminal court. She entered into probation with criminal court. She absconded. and she was found in Fulton County, Georgia. So I have a deputy and a dispatcher be en route Wednesday morning to go to Atlanta to take her into custody and bring her back to face charge of violation of probation in Hartsville. That's just one example. That's almost every day's business.
Line item in the budget called, I don't know, I'm just gonna use the word miscellaneous. It'd be hard to do that. It wouldn't cover all of it, but maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of hidden costs with this prison out here that the public don't realize that we're having to work and pay. We've got 2 right now in Nashville being held for murder that's supposed to be in our jail. Had to do a safekeeping order to get them to keep them for us. At one time, we had 5 down there. And they're our prisoners and we have to transport them ourselves. TDOC won't bring them to us. And we usually put one prisoner to a car, then we have another car kind of shadow behind them. So we have court, we have to send 3 cars to Nashville, pick those 2 up, bring them to court, then carry them back. And we had 5 down there, we had to send 6 cars down there to pick them up and bring them back. And I think we got 2 in jail right now from prison cases that were prisoners out there. We've got one in another facility that was a guard that bringing contraband in. And we didn't want to keep him here because of the prisoners we've got in the jail that he guarded. So we got him held somewhere else. And we run into a lot of little, not little things, just big things to us because it's a problem. We don't have anywhere to segregate them out. And this stuff happens every day. We're having to transport. We've gone to Memphis, all over the state and out of state, picking up prisoners that committed a crime out there. Once they get out of prison, they're flattening their state time they're originally in there for, and they're sentenced to another crime where they've been indicted out here. They become Charles County inmate then. Then we have to go get them, bring him to their time. We got 2 here doing it now. And it's beginning to pick up. I think we got 100 and something cases on docket right now, prison cases. And usually when we have court, we have to bring in about 30 prisoners from out there that's committed crimes every time we have court.
Other cases that you all were talking about, holding people's eyes, holding people for other counties, the medical bill for someone that instances that have nothing to do with the prison. Is there maybe a way that we could budget miscellaneous so that you all would have that money? It wouldn't be paying you back. It would just be in the budget to use.
I don't know. It's just coming out of our budget.
You said-
Hopefully they'll pay the bill. I talked with, Mr. Beller about it and, he said we'll probably have to pay it, but if they don't pay it. But we sent a copy of the bill and the bill with them and let Trousdale Medical know that if they don't pay it, we will eventually on that one. Training activities, officers train every day on V Academy. We got 3 right now going to White County Courtroom Security. They got a 4-day class going on there. They're commuting back and forth on that. We got correction officer class coming up in a few weeks, basic. All the correction officers have to go to classes also. I think 4 gonna do their basic, and this fall, the new ones that I've got hired will have to go also. And some of the deputies have gone on some specialized training classes. It's throughout the year, we do different training activities. I know we all went to Blount County and, doing the driving track up there and, got everybody certified on pit and box maneuver.
No, ICE. I mean, I know you all want to help everyone out, but the reason ICE asked you all to do it is because they don't want to sit out there and wait. It's, we're paying money to house that offender overnight simply, as I set those up, simply because the prison won't work with ICE to give them a specific time to pick them up. And y'all could say no, I reckon.
Well, we could say no, but we've got an obligation to the public to do our duty. If someone's wanted, it's our responsibility to pick them up and make sure they. Yeah, that's a conversation with somebody besides Travis County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, the only thing I know is ICE will call us if they've got somebody in the prison system. It's happened a few times. And, we've got the prison now where they will bring them to us. At one time, we were having to go out there and wait sometimes 2 or 3 hours just to pick up one. But they are. Yeah,
Or the sixth, simply because ICE don't want to sit there and wait them.
yeah, but ICE will come the next morning and get them. They're right there. We usually just hold them overnight.
But we're paying for that night here. When if you say no to ICE, they'll have to come to the prison. They won't be released on our paperwork, our TDOC.
If they're ready to be released,
Who's getting out on parole, not the expirations that are going to. But the ones that are getting out on parole, they simply don't want to wait for them.
Well, we've had an occasion where a TDOC prisoner was released, and the moment his paperwork was signed, he mysteriously had mental health problems. Called us to come take care of it. And they said he wouldn't be released, and we found him sitting on the bench in front of the prison. And luckily, he didn't have much fight left in him after staying out there for a few months. We took him to the hospital.
Okay.
maintenance needs, we don't have any major maintenance going on right now. Everything's pretty, we do it just regular maintenance, vehicle maintenance, building maintenance. We don't have anything major that needs to be worked on. Budget concerns and requests, just like I talked about a while ago with the raises. That's the main thing right now as far as the budget.
Hey, remind me, this 400 for this TCRS, is that coming out of county or is that coming out of your budget?
Comes out of my budget. That's to do the study on the retirement. Yeah, it's coming out of my budget.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Sheriff Russell? Okay, we'll move into other discussion. Does anybody have anything that they want to talk about?
Okay, I want to touch base on some on the holiday pay. Any chance I get to speak in front of all the commissioners in here, I'm going to over this. Basically, on March the 4th, the Personnel Committee voted all but one to send it to the full body to remove a particular sentence in this new wording they want done. It says holidays will not count as time worked for overtime calculation. This simply takes away anywhere from 52 cents an hour up to $1 an hour for sheriff department employees and EMS. This is unacceptable. I mean, in a time to where you pick, it's almost like they pick the two departments that has the toughest time on hiring people, the biggest turnover rate, and yet they want to take more money, more food off their table. There's a lot of employees in here tonight that doesn't want this to happen. I mean, the funny thing about this whole deal is that this was all brought up August 15th of 2024. We sat in here and we voted on this last year. Myself and Mark Presley was removed from the Personnel Committee. Okay? A new committee took over and all of a sudden it's brought back up. Everyone voted to send it to the commission favorably except for Shane Burton. Back when it was brought up in August, Mark Presley, Steve Whitaker, Shane Burton, Will Dennis, and myself voted no. The motion was made by Will Dennis to stop it because this, for years now, has been a benefit to all of Trousdale County employees, Sheriff's Department, EMS. It's a incentive to work here. We're the only county that does it. So that being said, Commissioner Dennis, he advised that this actually be labeled as a benefit for new hires coming in to bring in new people. It's kind of funny because then on March the 7th, 2025 at 8 a.m., I emailed the Mayor, Jack McCall, Chairman Lonnie Taylor, Amy Thomas, Amy Yates, and Leslie Overman, which is the chair of the Personnel Committee. And I asked them who wanted this brought back up after it was killed the year prior. I got no response. The only person that I talked to was by telephone was Lonnie. It comes down to this. We're at a time to where we have to have an increase. If this is being planned to take away hourly pay, a benefit, after this so-called increase has gone through, then it does no good. We're still going backwards. I just want every commissioner to know and to go look at this because this is wrong. It's wrong in every way. That's all I got.
Words that you probably don't hear out of my mouth all that often, but I agree with Mr. Crook 100% on this one. I don't see that it's worth, I don't think taking this away from our employees is worth generating the ill will that we're going to get, and we will lose people over this. You know, we heard Sheriff Russell sit here and say he's already having time keeping staff. Mr. Beatty mentioned he's looking at similar issues with his. I don't see where that's a good idea. So I know whenever it comes before the full commission, I know I'm not going to vote for it.
Are there any other discussion items? Public comments? We have a lot of public in here right now. Okay, hearing none, if somebody would like to adjourn us. Thank you, guys.